Kirba, are you there? You're supposed to start now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A warm good evening to one and all present in the meet. So today we are going to discuss about market opportunities in USA driven by globalization. So when we talk about globalization, to put it simple, globalization is nothing but interdependence of world economies, how countries depend on each other to grow economically. And when though globalization is it's a modern term, to trace back the history of globalization, we can go back to 130 BC, when China established its Silk Road, through which it was able to have trade with European and other East countries. And then when we talk about globalization in its modern sense, we can actually refer to the 1800s, when Britain actually fixed the price of gold against its country. That could be even called as the first wave of modern globalization. And the next wave of globalization emerges after the Second World War, and the initiative was taken up by the US. US, started studying the global economy, and it came up with new norms. That's how came the next wave of modern globalization. And globalization has a lot of advantages. Globalization means movement, movement of people, movement of resources, movement of technology. So in a way, globalization actually helps any country to go to the next level. And one of the important advantages of globalization would be access to new markets. So in that context, today our discussion will be focused on new market opportunities available in USA, that too driven by globalization. So for this interesting talk, I now invite Cecil Sundar sir and Olivannan sir. We are actually awaiting the next speaker. Hope will join us soon. So to say a few words about Cecil Sundar sir, Mr. Cecil Sundar is the National Director at Microsoft, and he is leading artificial intelligence and machine learning programs. And it's interesting to note that he has also worked for Indian Air Force. Right now, he is residing in Denver, in US, and he has a engineering graduation from AC Tech Karakudi, and he did his master's in aeronautical engineering from Air Force Technical College and MBA from the prestigious Leeds School of Business in USA. So we welcome you, sir, for this session.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes. Next, I'd like to call upon Olivannan, sir, who is actually, very much interested in reading, writing. Apart from being the CEO of the renowned publications, the Emerald Publications, he's a visionary, having a vision of creating a reading community in India. So for that, he's taking up a lot of initiatives. Each and every day he comes up with new ideas, so that people in India, they start reading, and he's inspiring people to read and to share knowledge. So we warm-heartedly welcome you, sir. Next, I'd like to call upon Joyce. Over to Joyce.
So let's start the session. Ganesh sir is not yet joined, so let's start the session.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I would like to say thanks, Kirba, for those nice words. Very, very lengthy one, but anyway, we know the time is the essence of this whole discussion. Thank you. Thanks for anyway. delighted to hear something about Manoj and as well as me through you. Manoj, nice to see you after a month because last month, though we have scheduled it a couple of times, I think the real spoil sport was CSK because on both occasions we didn't expect that they would qualify. Of
Right.
course, I'm an ardent CSK fan, but I didn't
Good
expect.
win though.
Yes,
Good win.
so on both Sundays we missed it because of CSK. Now,
Right.
coming back to this topic, because I remember when you were here last December, we were discussing November, December. That time, you were sounding little skeptical. We don't know how the next quarter would be and all that. So before we get into this topic, Manoj, I want to ask you that still do you hold that a kind of, I won't pessimistic, kind of negative swing that you were expecting, but actually when I checked up, it wasn't because US is doing very well in their economy and the unemployment ratio is far less actually, all-time low, the unemployment situation in US. Now, what is your take on that? Because it's a prelude to what we are going to discuss later. You think the situation has improved now, or it's the same?
Yeah, just first of all, Ganesh may or may not be able to join, so we can just a housekeeping thing. We can take questions, and if he joins, that should be relatively better, right? That's one point I want to make. But coming back to the question you just asked, in terms of economic activities, right? So we were expecting, not that we were expecting, there was a trend of slowing down, economic slowdown across the globe, right? It's just not US. Inflation was shooting up, economic activity was reducing, and there was a potential recession during that time when a couple of months before, few months before, and I was in India. And again, I'm not an economist, but what I would tell is we don't feel like we are in recession right now, but its activity is picking up, right? Yes, I completely agree. One, US could have gone into recession, but we are at this point we are increasing the rates, interest rates. Fed has increased the interest rates. We are maintaining the money supply, in other words, right? The inflation is also kind of contained. I would not controlled. I would not tell it is controlled. But what we are trying to do is maintaining the economy without going into recession. And the good news is the tech sectors, the earnings of tech sectors like Microsoft, Nvidia, last week they announced all the tech sectors have been pulling the economy up due to a lot of increased top line growth or in revenue growth and everything. So that is good for the globe. That's good for the world. Primarily driven by our core topic, AI, right? Artificial intelligence deployment and everything. So that's what driving the economic activity. We are still not out of the woods, but I would say personally, again, I'm not an economist per se. I would say it is going to sustain. That's the hope. Better than what we thought in last 2 quarters before. If that answers your question.
Thank you. That's a very positive note. Now, then I can proceed with all those that I wanted to ask with you. It's quite encouraging. But now the whole discussion is now, though we talk about the impact of business, the business opportunities, but it is, the whole discussion is going to be in relation to Indian investments in US. That is the key point we're going to discuss. So my question to you now is, what are you said your core area, IT, because you also come from that industry. What are the other sectors? If you look at, there are plenty of pharmaceuticals, very many things are there. What are the sectors now an Indian entrepreneur, prospective businessman can look at investing in US?
So there are multiple areas, right? You can get into financial markets, you can play in the equity markets and everything. But mostly if you have a services idea, a company that is service oriented, whether it can be even healthcare, right? There was a wave earlier, people can come in as registered nurses. That is probably an area that you can think about. Can I provide healthcare services? Not medical tourism, but other way around, right? The services is something that US imports a lot, not only IT services, but also healthcare and other services. Number two, if you have anything that is manufacturing related, that you can. So what we are trying to do in US is primarily moving the manufacturing from China to India and other countries who has that skill and talent pool, right? If you have something that you can manufacture to supply to North America, that is also a sector we should seriously consider. Manufacturing is very high resilient. Should have a resilient supply chain one, and also a highly skilled workforce. We should have it back in India. So that sector is also a high growth sector that you can think about contributing. Then in addition to that, we can also think about agro products and everything. But for that, you need to have this tie-up with US companies or corporations. That will help in an immense way to export your products and services and increase that business, collaboration and everything. So that is a possibility. The fourth one I would call is immigration related, where you can, if you have, this is probably
This
the
is
most
what I
important.
want to ask you. Actually, I wanted to ask you a separate question. Probably now I think I asked you that question because this always, when we think of US, not only the business opportunities, but even for a tourist to visit the USA, the biggest thing that would be, stumbling block for anybody would be the visa. So I would be very happy if you can enlighten us on that area. How does the immigration looks at when somebody is planning to come there to do business?
So again, it's not an immigration advice, but generally there was a heavy restriction earlier during Trump era for all this because of the pandemic situation and economic slowdown here itself. We had a huge restriction on not only this high skilled labors, there was a lot of scrutiny on H1Bs, L1 transfers, intra-company transfers, and all those things. But tourists, they have opened up pretty much. There was a long wait time in the embassies for B1, B2, we call. Now they have opened up. You can pretty much. I have seen last at least 3-4 months. Whoever applied for it is getting it. Of course, there's some wait time there. You might have to wait for at least 2-3 months. But what we are talking about in terms of investment opportunities, there's something called investor visa, EB5 they call. I think it's EB5, where you can bring in $1 million of Indian investments. And this visa is primarily grabbed by China. A lot of these visas are grabbed by China. And if you understand how the US immigration works and how long does it take to get a green card, generally for an Indian IT worker or skilled labor, you would call, highly skilled workers, it takes anywhere between 15 to 20 years, okay? But what this EB5 or investor program does, it was heavily grabbed by China, and in India, we are not very much aware. You can bring in a $1 million investment, Indian was for 8 crores, right? Give or take 8.5 crores, and put it in high development areas, right? And then if you can create 6 to 10 employment opportunities within that targeted areas, they call target areas, you would be getting a green card within a couple of years. You'll get visa on arrival, but you also get a green card for you and your family within that 2-3 years. They'll start with a green card provisional, and then they will make it permanent. So that is something that if you have money, a partnership, you should be able to explore it, right? I think certain areas is 1 million, in certain areas is $700,000 or something. That's another investment area you can look at. You can build hotels, restaurants, chains, and all those things. That is a possibility, and that is what most of the Patel brothers from Gujarat they do, right? They own motels and hotels, and they come here through those kind of visas and invest a lot.
Other than these visa, what are the other key opportunities? This what you said about that EB5 is definitely would be news to very many people. Thank you. People can go to the US immigration site and get more details on that. But now I wanted to explore more such opportunities Indian entrepreneurs can leverage while doing business in US. Can you initiate a few more such key opportunities?
So the opportunities, Anna, we have to think about size of the economy itself. Can we just pivot a little bit and understand the size of the economy so we can really understand what is US versus India versus the rest of the world? Is that okay?
Of course. Yes, please. We'd be very happy to hear from you. Go ahead.
So I think the primary understanding what we probably may need to have is what is the size of the US economy versus the rest of the world. So we talk in terms of GDP, right? I'll also address the opportunities in a bit. GDP is a gross domestic product where we measure the goods and services created within by the country within their borders, right? So US is $23 trillion, right? That is number one economy in the world. And India is close to 3 trillion, right? So when we talk about India getting closer and becoming a superpower, the gap between the United States and India, or even China is $18 trillion economy, is pretty huge, right? The gap is pretty high. So what that along with that GDP comes the opportunity to invest to create more capital markets, as well as capital markets is most of the business are funded by capital markets in US versus bank. Capital markets now it's like equity market and financial markets fund the businesses. That's a fundamental difference you need to understand. Funds the businesses versus in India, which is bank funded, right? So bank is where we have the non-performing assets, where people take money and probably run away and everything, right? We have a huge scams and things that can happen if bank is funding. Financial markets regulates the economy, where corporates create the bonds and the bonds are being paid by the capital markets, equity market we call, right? So if you think about $24 trillion economy, it also comes with huge opportunity for everybody to come in. And it's not easy to come in. That's what I want to point out here. It is not easy to come in because they have this cap of only bringing highly skilled people through certain visa programs. The other way to come in is through business visa, but that has got no meaning for anybody except they'll take your money, right? You can tour around, spend money, and you can go back. The third way is EB5 we talked about. There are specific sectors you can come, right? That is highly skilled. That is the only way or investment route. Highly skilled is nothing but IT, research, PhDs, right? And those are the areas through student exchange program we can come. We can come for medical studies and job. And most of this immigration, especially when you talk about United States, is grabbed by students as well as the services company. So that is the understanding. We can't just the border is not opened up for anyone and everyone to come and create a business or partnership here, unless you have somebody who's already running like Ganesh. I wish he joined. Those entrepreneurs who are already here, they establish the businesses, and you have a partnership in India, right? Then there is a possibility of you coming through L1A and those kind of visas, right? This is intra-company transfer visas as a possibility, right? But does it make sense, Anna? This is how the economy.
Yes, I got the size and diversity of the US market capabilities. But I wanted to ask you about this capital funding. Can entrepreneurs from India can access to the capital funding, and are there any challenges and opportunities for that?
Yes, if you are having a partnership here, no, you cannot directly. You cannot access. So, in other words, if you're talking about loan, probably not. But if you invest in the US capital markets? Absolutely yes, right?
But what, we talked about the partnership. Can you elaborate on that, please? Because you mentioned about it. But how does that partnership works?
So you should have, for example, if Cecil has a company, Manoj has a company, Olivannan can be one of the partner, not as a US resident, one of the partner if I want to establish a company back in India, right? So I have both. I work for Microsoft, but I do have business interest in India as well as in US, right? Same thing. Many of my friends have this entrepreneurial need. So they have venture here, meaning they have a company here. They also have a partnership in India where they would look for right partners that they can bring the skills to the table. Not equity. Equity is not that important because you would always charge the US company. US company will pay them, and that is a possibility. Through that you can access the capital markets through your partner in US. If that makes sense, you need to have a joint partnership with a US citizen or green card holder or somebody who has a company here, through which the capital can flow back to India. And that is exactly everybody does, whether it is Microsoft, Google, Apple, Tesla, or Ford, everybody does the same way. They have a private company they set up in India under Indian laws and regulation, and they fund that company through US equity capital, and whatever the profit is made in that company is kept within that boundaries of regulations within the country. If I generate profit in India, the profit generated is kept within that company for tax purposes also, right? Possible. The answer is yes, absolutely doable and possible, but you need to find the right friendship and partnership with the US person.
Yeah, that's a very important question. As you said, right, mindset is very important. But I have a question on that also. Certainly there is a cultural differences in the business practices that's happening in India and USA, right? So in this situation, a person who is entering into a partnership, say, as you said, the same example we can take it. Suppose Olivannan is entering into a partnership with Manoj, and both of them forming a company. What business practices are the cultural differences an Indian entrepreneur should take into account before venturing there?
My personal perception is the cultural differences are not much relevant anymore, right? The speaker who introduced, right? She's clearly mentioned starting from ancient Silk Road to when we opened up economy during Manmohan Singh in 1990s, plus now the IT industry opened up in early 2000. We are pretty much acclimatized to the culture. Not that we talk like Europeans or like proper Caucasians. We don't need to do that. But what I'm suggesting here is, as you get the content from US and assimilate through YouTubes and social media, the culture is pretty much flat in my mind, right? You would find people imitating US culture more in India than in US itself, right? So, but the trust is important, Anna, right? What I would say is, if we both have some same mindset and trust, that's something that's a number one thing. But also the consistent delivery, right? What you promised, can you do that? And surprisingly, within our territory, there is some. I see there is some. What do you call? You have to continue to build the trust. But when you do business with European countries or developed nations, uh, Indian companies or Indian entrepreneurs are completely like they are fantastic. They have the commitment. They do exactly what they want to do or they plan to do. They tell they will do, and they want because that's the only way they can grow, right? So there is culturally, I don't see a difference that is going to impact the business perspective, right? But otherwise, in addition to that, I'm also seeing a lot of enthusiasm and commitment when you do business with entrepreneurs in US. There is a huge win-win opportunity, I would call it, for both the partners.
That
Positive.
sounds very, very interesting. Thank you. That's really interesting. Now,
Ganesh sir has joined.
okay. I will also make him as a co-host that so that Ganesh Gopal, right?
Yes, sir.
Ganesh.
Morning, Ganesh.
Good morning, Ganesh. It's nice to have you amidst us. I'll come back to you because we are progressing.
Morning.
Yeah, a very good morning. Good morning, and I'll
Good
come
evening.
back to you
Good evening
quickly,
for all of
Ganesh.
us.
Yeah. See, I
Anna,
want to.
Anna,
Yeah.
one nimsham. I just wanted to make sure that we talked about GDP, the size of the GDP and everything.
Yes.
There is one statistics I want to provide, maybe very helpful for folks, right? We talk about GDP in terms of global economy, right? 90 trillion is give or take 80 to 90 trillion is global economy. Now, so I mentioned the US is 27 trillion. You can do the math. US should be probably 20 to 30% or something like that, right? India is 3.5 trillion. Think about this way. The 3.5 trillion Indian economy is the size of two companies in US. Okay. Market cap of two companies. Microsoft 2.4 trillion economy. Apple is another 2 trillion, 2.2 trillion economy. So just take a step back and understand two companies in US is larger than the size of the Indian economy. So that realization have to set in, right? How, when we talk about how the capital markets, how the capital countries, the countries with capital market works, they fund these companies to accelerate innovation, growth, and everything, and they hold them accountable. And the market punishes these companies if they don't perform, right? But the other stat you want to understand is take every single product we use, right? Starting with YouTube, Zoom that we are streaming, Apple, Microsoft, iPhone, right? Everything, every single product we are touching, guess where it is made? It is made in US, innovated and made in US. Tell me a product that we have, right? I'm not, by the way, I'm not suggesting somebody is great, somebody is good, but the same Indian entrepreneurs here, folks like Ganesh, folks like Zoe for Sridhar, right? Sridhar Vembu. They are product of US, but where are they from? They're originally from India, right? So they can come and create wealth here. They can create this massive innovation, opportunities, employment, and do that. That is what we need to do back in India to create. We can talk about coming to US, but if we can't fix what we can fix, can an entrepreneur back in India, can he set up a business? Can Kruba or Oli or somebody can set up a business? Can they still fail and create another business? We are not talking, we are talking about opportunities, but somehow the conversation should shift to how can we fix the mindset we have back regulatory environment that protects the entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs, right? Not Ambani's and this thing. Though they will survive, they are huge. How can we fix that mindset? Can the culture shape up that promotes entrepreneurship for young minds that are coming out of college, right? And the one last thing I would point is the GDP per capita, right? Now I will explain GDP per capita is, we talked about GDP. GDP per capita is every single person that is in that country has this much money. Think of this in a simple way, right? This much money. So whether they can spend it or they can buy or whatever they can do, US is $66,000 per year. This is where we segment between developed nations and developing nations, right? US is $66,000 per year. And when you compare to India, it is $2,600. See, you understand what kind of difference we have, right? China is $14,000 per year. That is what that we need to pick up. And the only way you can do it is to bring those skills and opportunities at the lowest level in rural and other areas, so they can create the economic might for themselves or economic opportunity for themselves.
Yeah, that's of course, when you compare the economy, it's distressing. But we have to also take into account that US is 3 times the size of the subcontinent, and also the population in India is nearly 4 times of 3 or 4 times of US. Now we'll get back to
ஒரு நிமிஷம் அப்படி நம்ம சொல்ல முடியாது. Okay, I'll challenge that thought, right? Primarily, US median age is 38, 39 years. Indian median age, right, is 28. We have the young minds. We have the most skilled people, right? And the same entrepreneurs coming here are flourishing. And just the conversation should shift to how can we create those better ecosystem that is driven by regulatory and financial markets. That we need to talk.
Right? Yes, brother. Now let's
that
get
kind of skill set, we can do wonders. Yeah,
I got it. Now let's get into some practical experiences of an Indian who has gone to US and set up a business, who is very successful today. Ganesh, welcome, Ganesh. Can you share some of your experiences very quickly? How you you came from a small town, Karaikudi, and went all the way to United States and set up a business there in India, doing well. Just tell us briefly about your stories and some of those best moments. Go ahead. If you want, let him continue. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So I can introduce myself. So thank you, Olivannan. Thank you, Cecil, for getting me into this discussion. I want to give first of all, my apologies joining a little late. I'm in a different time zone that I missed out the time. Good evening to everyone, okay, who are all participating from India as well as the folks from the globe. I and Cecil are almost same age, and then I came to US in 1998, and I was working for Sony's research and development. That's one of the good opportunities I got, wherein I was able to work on some of the cutting edge technologies, right? In late 90s and 2000s, Sony pioneered in this technology space before Apple. And I was fortunate to work on some of the very, very complex technology innovations, okay, that was happening both here as well as in Tokyo. That gave me a perspective, as Olivannan told, that coming from a town like Karaikudi with very limited exposure, coming all the way here, I got a very good exposure into technology. I witnessed technology in late 90s, 99, 2000 timeframe. I witnessed technology that was going to come out in 2010 or something, okay, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, right? So that gave me a perspective that, okay, so there are so many innovations and new things to be done, right, in this world. that motivated me. So I was with Sony till 2011, and then my family decided to move back to India, and so we wound up everything here. But what I did was like, as the next phase of my career, I set up my own company in US, and we all as a family moved back to India happily, and we settled down in Sholinganallur. And right now, my home is in Sholinganallur. We also have a home in US. So I started this company very early stage, and I knew nothing about business. Okay, zero. I don't have an MBA degree or like. I was just an engineer. That's all. Okay, I was just an engineer working on all the latest technology. I started this company, and then this was a dream for a long time. Like for a lot of people, it's a dream to start something and make it big and all those things. So I started this one with a very small consulting opportunity that I had, because like we are talking about market opportunities in US, right? So probably I'm not boring you, like kind of walk through on how I set up my business, right? Both in US and India, may kind of give you a perspective on how you are, you can try it out or something like that. Okay, a lot of people may have that idea of starting something. So I started that and learned on the way, okay, how to do a business development, how to set up a HR organization, how to set up a finance organization, how to hire people, how to train them, groom them, because ours is mostly a human resource based business, right? We were mostly into consulting, right? So and with the help from a lot of good people, like especially Cecil and everyone, like we got partnership into Microsoft and a lot of other companies, like big companies, we got partnership. Today, we are close to a 200 people company in India, where we are doing some very niche consulting, competing with the likes of IBM and Infosys and Cognizant and everything. Okay, so we work on some niche area. As far as the market opportunity is concerned, like as Cecil mentioned, right? So I think we need to bring some good research in different areas. Okay, it may be IT, it may be manufacturing, or it may be electronics or electrical, or whatever domain it may be, like in the engineering domain, or even in some other business domain. We need to bring in a lot of research and development. So we start creating these new innovations, like new products and everything from Indian soil, okay, and then selling globally. I see some of the, since I'm both in US and India right now. I've been like looking into some of my friends who made it really big in India. I have one of my very close friends. Okay, he right now he started from scratch, like 1 to 2 people, and right now he has 3,000 people in Chennai and Madurai. So they are doing a lot of innovation. They have created a lot of product from Indian soil, okay, and they're selling it in US. So likewise, new product development, yes, that requires a lot of investment and all those things, right? But so that's why we started as a services company, where we generate a lot of revenue and then like plan to invest that in product development or something, okay? But there are a lot of market available in US right now, especially in this latest technology area, which Cecil is pioneering, like in AI analytics and everything. So it's really red hot right now. So if anyone in this audience, like who is interested in the technology line of business, right, they can try that out. Even after, without that, like it's mostly like when you look at like India, right, so far it has been a service-based industry, like IT or anything, right? So there are big clients in US, like we have been like doing a lot of service. So you can start there, and then you can move to the product too. That's my take. I'll just stop there, and probably if there is any question I can answer.
Yeah, thank you, Manoj. Ganesh. You are truly an inspiration to all of us. Yes, yes. I request any participant here wanted to ask a question, they can use that similarly as Mr. Raj is there. Kindly wait. I've just one or two questions to complete. Manoj, you're talking about competing with China, right? China has always been a big threat for India in very many areas. my question to you is, what are the strategies the Indian businessman? You also answer, Ganesh, after Manoj. What are the strategies can Indian entrepreneur can employ to stand out from the competitions from not only China, from the rest of the world? Over to you, Manoj, then followed by Ganesh, and we take a few questions.
So we have to play to our strengths. And first is, why are we so successful in providing certain types of services? That is IT services, consulting services. So our strength is, number one, starting with India is the largest English-speaking nation, right? Going down to fundamental, right? Largest English-speaking nation. Highly talented, skilled folks are there, youngsters, average age 28 or 30, as I mentioned earlier. If we can use this as an advantage, China doesn't meet us even the middle way through, meaning that they're not even coming close to that, except the hard labor side. Labor side is manufacturing. They are the manufacturing, and nobody, even US cannot dethrone them, or nobody can dethrone them from that number one position, pole position we call, because they have created huge infrastructure, and the technology implementation they have, they can scale to any product, starting with a pin to a chip to electric vehicles and cars, right? They reverse engineered all the IPs. They've taken it from US. They let companies as being established in China, and they have replicated the same engineering with absolutely no. All the iPhones are made in China till last 2 years before, and then we set up a plant in Apple set up a plant in through their company. Foxconn set up a plant in Chennai. That is how it is. The world is tied to China. You like it or not, that's a reality. What we can
Manoj,
do better.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Ganesh, would you like to add your own experiences? How did you, whether you have faced any competitions, how did you tide over that?
I don't know whether Manoj finished his thought. Like Manoj, you want to complete your thought so I can.
No, I just wanted to add one more thing. It is
I'm
like
sorry.
no problem. It is, if we can get our play to our strengths in terms of having the skilled labor and provide the services specific to what Ganesh is talking about, there is a possibility. The other sector we forgot to talk about, the pharmaceutical sector. There is a huge growth that's shaping up. The world needs more medicines. What we call it is prescription drug versus generic drug. There is also a huge potential to leverage that thing, right? The vaccine, we were the vaccine suppliers of the world, but small entrepreneurs can think about IT services, anything that you can create a pharmaceutical generic drugs and export it. That is also a possibility as the globalization and the regulations eases up in US. So those are the areas I want to just pinpoint. Ganesh, over to you.
Yeah. So okay. So Anna, like your question was like, yeah, there's a huge competition from China, and how are we like doing against that, right? And what we need to do or something, right? So as a person who has experience for the last almost 12-13 years, building a team from 1 to 2 people to 200 people, right? What I feel is like fundamentally like the way we approach like anything, right, the work or anything, right, so should change. There should be a systemic change happening in our workforce too in India. The thing is like the attitude, what I see with young engineers, okay, coming fresh out of college and everything, young engineers, on some experienced people, right, just giving the minimalistic thing that is required, okay. Sometimes they don't even give that, okay. Say, for example, if I have to tell as an example, okay, if I ask them to draw a tree, right, so how it is done in US and how it is done in India, okay. So I'm just quoting some example, right. So in India, like they want to draw the minimalistic thing, right? So just draw two lines, create the stem, and then put something over that one, and that's a tree for them. Okay, but whereas what I've seen in US is, okay, they give the proper color and they give the different wedges in the tree and everything. Okay, they go into the detail, okay, to the the most detailed part, okay, so that like it looks realistic. Okay, that's the change I see, especially in the workforce, right? So when we are talking about competing with the international players like China and everything, right, I'm talking about IT services itself. Okay, so you leave alone the other areas like manufacturing and other things. Okay, competing with them, right? So the process wise, the delivery quality wise and everything, okay, we need to move to the top. Okay, so we claim that we are IT services, like IT software superpowers or something. Okay, I don't think we are superpowers anymore. I think there are a lot of other countries competing with us: Philippines, Vietnam, you name it, actually, Poland, European, even Ukraine, like where even though like war is going on, like previously they were in Russia. So all these people are like creating software, okay, that is of much more scalable quality wise, as well as like very optimized code also, how they write the code also. For us, like, okay, you want something like this, okay, I will do something. Okay, it may break down the line too, right? They are not covering all the quality aspect and all those things, right? So in at Geek Minds, like we are emphasizing a lot on, okay, to work in a mode, okay, where like how they work in the US and everything. Okay, we train from day one, okay, to do that, and we have got some really good resources. The reason I told that when we are competing with IBM or Cognizant or Infosys, right? So the thing is, like, we see that gap in this big players. Okay, they are not able to compete with us because like I see that gap. Okay, when they deliver, they do the minimalistic thing, and we try to give the complete thing. Okay, so that systemic change has to be there, and also to compete with the global market, the innovation should happen. A lot of new R&D and all those things have to happen. Like right now, we have Chat GPT coming from US and from Microsoft and everything, right? So probably this large language models, like, okay, so maybe the next evolution of innovation can happen from here. Okay, some companies in India can take it up and do it, right? So
Ganesh, is that Ganesh, quickly, sorry to interrupt, is that something attitudinal change or cultural shift you need to happen at the student level, business level? Like what do you think that is, what do you see here versus what we can become better back in India?
yeah, from
There's no
basic
shortcut.
education, yeah, basic education itself, right? So why is a student from IIT so good and so intelligent than someone coming from some college in one of the colleges, the normal, like tier 1, tier 2 colleges or something, right? The thing is, like, in tier 1, tier 2 colleges, they don't focus on applications, just the theory. Okay, you study, just study in the study. Most of the students now study only in the study holidays. Okay, minimalistic thing they want to. Some students just want to pass the exam. Some students want to, yeah, they want to top the class. Okay, but they memorize everything. Okay, and then they just go spit it out there and then come, right? I'll tell you, right, last 10 years I've been going for campus interview to many colleges, right? And I've interviewed people with the 90%. The once there was one person. Okay, I don't want to tell the gender or something. Okay, that's one person. This person was in the 12th grade, state first rank holder, state first. This is like I did this like 7-8 years back. Okay, so at the time the state ranking were there, so state first in the 12th grade. And then amazing percentage, 92-93% in their undergrad. Okay, and I asked this person to write a simple logic on how ATM works. Okay, this is a computer science student. Okay, here, like, even a 10th grader will write. Okay, because they are taught on the logic application and everything. Okay, they will easily write. Okay, this person was not even able to write a single line of code. Okay, I was literally shocked on how these kids are educated. So when they come to workforce also, they think that they can memorize something or take few things from different places, assemble it, and then deliver it or something without even understanding, okay, what it is actually doing, or what kind of application, what we need to add value into that, whatever program or something. Okay, so that's a basic system from the education, right? From the school education to college education to the workforce. So what we do is like, okay, that our hiring process totally has changed right now. Okay, we have hired someone who has not even completed his engineering degree also, because like he was like too good in the logic. Okay, you tell him any problem, he always focused on practical thing. Okay, he was not interested in theory, writing this exam, passing and everything. But he was one of the best engineers we have hired. He didn't even complete his engineering degree.
Ganesh, that's a good news, Ganesh, because this is very interesting actually. I think that gives us a room for a discussion on this because right now I'm writing an article on that also, how to enhance the quality of school education in Tamil Nadu. Maybe I'll share with you once it is published. Now, coming back to this thing, as you rightly said, that we require complete revamp of education. Thank you. That we will discuss about it. Maybe our next discussion, which is due in next 3 weeks. Now we'll take on 2 questions. There are people waiting. One, Mr. Raj, you tell us who has to answer the question. Both of them would also share their experience. Now you have to unmute now, Mr. Raj, and yeah. Okay, unmute and speak. Raj?
Can I speak?
Yeah, very good. Go ahead.
Good morning, Ganesh and Sundar, and good evening to everyone. Thanks for sharing the thought on the practical process than on the theory. It's really good. I would like to understand what is the opportunity, as Sundar said, about services and ITs and all. How about trading food products to US? What is the opportunity there?
Food products you asked, right? Food.
Yeah.
See, so we have an embargo, like we don't import. We, meaning India, doesn't import US products into India for local markets, right? We produce, we consume our own thing. But I haven't seen much of exports coming from India into US. But there might be possible things in terms of going sustainable, like think about tea, coffee are primary exports, right? There are huge exports that is happening from India to, I'm not sure about the coffee side, but tea, Assam, Darjeeling, this and that, we have a lot of exports coming in specific. If you can identify specific areas that you have for possibility to grow, then think of this as an organic product, right? One of the things I want to call out is, if any food or anything you want to export, if you can think of that as an organic product, there is a huge market for organic products, and growth opportunities also there. So you can research those areas where organic needs are in play, foods, and then if you can get, reverse is true, meaning it's very hard to import to India from US because of the regulatory issues we have, or regulatory controls we have. The alternate is reverse is true, meaning you can do that if you have the quality, if you have the partnership, and you can establish a supply chain. It is definitely doable with US. Something that you might want to research. Organic, sustainable products, can you export to US? Possibilities, but that's also the market is picking up a lot here.
Now I'm requesting Mr. Vaikunth to ask the question. Sir, kindly unmute and ask.
Hello, sir. My name is Vaikunth, and I currently am a master's in data science student at University at Buffalo. Well, I am graduating this December, and given the current job market, what do you think I could do to stand out to get into Microsoft and big tech companies? considering the competition and the job market.
Whereas you go first.
Yeah. So, Vaikunth, so have you done any internship in this? You're doing masters, right? Vaikunth, can you
Yeah,
hear
I
me?
think, yeah, 1 minute. I think Vaikunth, you have to unmute again, Vaikunth. Yeah, you can speak. Yes, unmute and speak.
Yeah. I'm sorry. The host was blocking from unmuting. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
correct.
you're doing masters, right? So have you done any internships in this maybe 1.5 to 2 years time frame during your course?
In my undergraduate, I was a research assistant on machine learning, and currently now I am an artificial intelligence intern in one startup for the summer.
Okay, you're doing an internship, right? So see, the internships are going to really help in getting the right opportunities. Maybe the opportunity inside Microsoft, Cecil is the best person to talk about. But whatever I have seen is like now. So right now I'm in Santa Clara in Bay Area, where you have most of the technology companies. I've been talking to some senior leadership here, okay, who were right now telling that they are mostly considering only master's students right now, okay. Yeah, undergrad from premium institutions they are considering, but master's students who have like specialized in this niche area like AI and analytics and all those things, and probably by this time all the developments that's happening with Microsoft and OpenAI and all those things, right? That's a huge buzz on that area. And it's a very nascent area where you can do a lot of research, and then there are a lot of large language models like open source and everything available right now. So you can research with the OpenAI is like very much matured, but there is also like other language models that you can kind of focus on and see, because what I see is like my son is doing an internship right now, especially in this like large language models, right? So these companies are little bit skeptical on kind of sending out the data to the cloud and everything. So they want to take some of the open source models and then like customize to them and then like run it in their own environment or something like that. Okay, so those kind of opportunities are coming and probably there's a lot happening inside Microsoft, which Cecil can talk. Okay, I'll give it to him. Yeah, job market is a little tough, but in your area there are a lot of opportunities too, so you don't have to worry.
Okay.
I would, Vaikunth, I would concur the same thing. There is, when we talk about job market, employment opportunities, the area in which you are graduating, and I heard that you are specially graduating from AI, right? Artificial intelligence, right? Huge opportunity. The challenge is also the visa, right? If you think about visa and opportunities there, but you also, I would think you also have 3-year OPT, CPT.
Yes.
So the best way for, if you think about job versus career, job is something that you will get, right? Whether you get a career in a particular area is something is possible through networking. And I have the privilege, I would call, to help many people in this area. So connect with me. If you already reached out, it's fine. If not, LinkedIn is the best medium to connect with me, right? And see how we can shape up some of your body of work. I would like to see before I refer. But think about this is just a journey. You will get the job for sure, right? Just be patient with what you would want to choose within you're already there in the best of the place, right? In US, you're already there. Don't get disappointed or frustrated if you're not getting landing a perfect job, right? Be ambitious, but make sure the two things you're doing. One is continue to increase your certification and skill set. Number two, network, right? And don't be shy in networking. Connect with anybody, everybody you can reach out, and it's only going to be incrementally beneficial, right? We'll talk more, Vaikunth, right?
Folks, thank you very much, and we have come to the end of the program. Before I invite Joyce for vote of thanks, A final word from both of you, quickly on your, take-home advice to an entrepreneur from India. What is that one single quality that you should possess before venturing into US for business?
I would tell then hand off to Ganesh. Failure is not fatal now. Okay.
Okay.
Failure is not fatal in US. If you have that same mindset, you can fail, learn the lesson, but continue to move on, establish partnership, and we'll reach there. That's how Ganesh has done. Every single person has done. So good luck. Yeah.
Ganesh, from you, Ganesh.
Yeah, I would agree 200% with Cecil. Because when I started the business in 2011 till 2015, like it was a very, very small venture, like so many failures, even so many failures every day, right? So, but I had this thing like inside me telling myself, okay, never quit this one, okay? Just go see the, like now you all watched maybe IPL, okay? Yeah, even though like the final 3 balls were like so tensed and everything, right? So I think you all need to be like Dhoni. Okay, you have that patience and the conviction till the last ball, okay, that you will win or something, right? So that is required, okay. That's I think silently he's one of the guys, okay, who is like teaching the world like so many leadership lessons, okay. So probably never quit, and then like and also like we need to do hard work too, right? Try to connect with people in the US, like right now we both are talking to you, right? So you will have your family, friends, everyone there, right? So talk to them, try to find some opportunities, even small opportunity. Don't look for very big opportunity, because a lot of the projects we started was just putting one person into that company, and then like we grew to like 20 or 30 people, right? So look for small opportunities, and then like probably perseverance and hard work will definitely do. And once you do, and once you succeed to the level, right? So today, like even if you give me like $1 million and then say, right, okay, I'll give you $1 million salary, I'll give you like 10 million in hand, okay, go back to a full-time job, I will not do it, okay? Because once you, it's like an addiction. Once you start enjoying this one, okay, you will not go back to that work, because you also get a satisfaction. You are providing like kind of a career for like 200 people, right? That's the best part of it. Actually, a lot of entrepreneurs are here, so probably you also have the same thing. That's
That's
And
a
also,
nice. That's a nice addiction to one should get it right. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
May I invite Joyce? Are you there? Please say a few words. I couldn't hear your voice today.
First of all, I got an emotional connect because I'm also near Karikudi. My native is near Karikudi. So actually, yes, sir.
which place?
So,
Which place?
like near Devakotte town, Adakita village. My appa or amma or mamanaar or ellame like surrounding Devakotte. So I actually got
My
an
dad is from Devakotte. Like we are from Devakotte. So settled in Karagiri. So we
ஃபோன்ல
are.
உங்கள்கிட்ட நான் பேசும்போதே உங்க டோன் எனக்கு சென்ஸ் ஆன ஒரு ஃபீல் வந்துச்சு சார் நம்ம ஒரு பக்கம் அப்படின்னு ஸோ ஐ எம் ரியலி இமோஷனலி பாண்டட் வித் யூ போத் சார் ரியலி தேங்க்யூ நீங்க நெட்வொர்க்கிங் பத்தி சொன்ன வந்து ரொம்பவே ஆக்சுவலி ஐடியாஸ் வந்து we can get from anywhere sir, like from any books or Google anything, but apart from that you both motivated us, Cecil sir and Ganesh sir. நீங்க வந்து லைக் இப்படி பண்ணலாம் ஐடியாஸ் மட்டும் கொடுக்கறத தாண்டி நீங்க ரொம்ப மோட்டிவேட் பண்ணீங்க, நெட்வொர்க் பண்ணுங்க இப்படி பண்ணுங்க சொல்லி நீங்க ரொம்ப இன்ஸ்பயர் பண்ணீங்க சார். ரியலி தேங்க்யூ Cecil sir and Ganesh sir for your inspiring and motivational talks and your innovative ideas. Thank you so much sir, and thanks to Olivannan sir too.
Thank you, members of Chennai Book Club, Joyce, the boss Prem, and Kirba for your wonderful support.
Thank you, sir.
So we will soon come back with another very interesting topic today, about which Ganesh also discussed. How exactly a student should, irrespective of the syllabus, exams, everything. Even if you fail, don't worry. If you have some logic, people like Ganesh or Manoj are there to help you out. This is definitely a message for many students who are watching this program today. So we'll come back soon on that topic. I think that will interest a scores of students to enjoy. So thank you very much and wish you a great Sunday. You have a long Sunday too. We are now almost moving closer to the Monday. That's, you can see the disappointment in our face, but I can see the happiness in your face because the whole Sunday is left for you. Enjoy the Sunday. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
To become a
Yeah.
good entrepreneur, you should be happy about Monday. When Monday starts, you should be really happy.
Yes. Thank you.
And Michael,
Yeah, I did.
connect with me. Call. I'll just connect with me. I'll put my.
Yeah.
I'll put a message on the private thing. Then
Yeah.
you can. Okay.
And today's discussion is also available on YouTube, and I share it in all the groups so that people who have missed it, the first part of it, can also listen to it. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Anna.
Thank you.
Good luck, everyone.
Thank you.